Hi, welcome to UNCUT. I'm Steve Adubato, a series of in-depth conversations with the people who matter and make decisions every day that affect our lives. We're honored to be joined by Mayor Ras Baraka, the great city of Newark. Mr. Mayor, thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
Question, you're going to see a graphic when people see this. It's going to call it's called Confronting Racism. It's a series of conversations that we're having, trying to confront racism. What does it mean to you, for us in the media, to consistently and legitimately and meaningfully, quote, confront racism?
Well, I think every institution in America has been infected with racism and white supremacy, and that includes the media. If you look at the major media conglomerates or companies, many of the people on the editorial board, the ownership, are not people of color. I think that it means to put these issues at the forefront as well, to have discussions about them, to talk about them honestly and frankly, and begin to go to these communities and talk to people in the community about these very poignant and serious issues, and not just like find somebody that agrees and find somebody that disagrees and have them go at it with one another, which is really what happens. The mayor says something, you'll find somebody in the community that disagrees with them, and you put them at each other.
That's not real. That's entertainment. That's not real. But Mr. Mayor,
Right.
Let me ask you this. You and I have known each other a long time. Our dads, leaders in the city of Newark. Your father, a great civil rights leader, a poet, an activist, somebody who made such a difference. My dad involved in the city as well during the 60s in Newark, 70s, beyond. I don't even know if they talked honestly or comfortably about race, but it was always there. It's always been in the city. It's always been in this country. My question to you is this: why do you think it's so hard for so many of us, black, white, brown, to have honest, sometimes uncomfortable, difficult conversations about race, racism, and race relations?
Well, I think it's difficult to have uncomfortable conversations, period, right, about anything. So when we start talking about race, it gets worse because things are happening now. It's still happening. It's not something that we're talking about that's in the past that may be easier for us to have a discussion about. These are things that are happening, and there are people who are benefiting. Like, people benefit from this. They have a privilege around these specific things, and a lot of people are not willing to give up their privilege. They're not willing to have these kind of discussions. They feel kind of like you're making them responsible. You're making them accountable and guilty for things that are going on. And also, in terms of my community, there are people who are afraid of these tense situations as well. They want to preserve their job, preserve their position. And so it's difficult to have real, honest conversations about it that are going to turn out to mean something impactful for our community.
To what degree, Mayor Baraka, do you believe that this moment, we're taping in the middle of June, it'll be seen after that there's really something, quote, different about this time, about this moment, that the George Floyd horrific murder on camera and others since then, including in Atlanta, and God knows when this will be seen, I'm praying and hoping, as you are, that there's not another public incident. But there is something to be said for having it on camera, because otherwise we don't know what people would, even when they see it, by the way, some people don't believe they just saw what they just saw. But that being said, my question to you, Mr. Mayor, is, do you really believe this is a moment where some meaningful reform, restructuring, change, meaningful change about race, racism, institutional racism can be dealt with and confronted for real?
Yeah, we have an opportunity. I've been calling it the Noah moment. We just have
the
to be
what?
willing
Say it
to
again. The what?
Our Noah moment. You know what I mean? Like, we just have to have the conviction to build the ship. We go someplace else, to start something different. This, to me, it's like the death of Emmett Till, right? African Americans have been lynched for way before Emmett Till's death, and then Emmett Till's mother portrays it, makes it public, and people see how horrific it is, and it sparks the whole entire civil rights movement. And I think this death of George Floyd in the middle of the COVID pandemic had everybody home, no sports, no entertainment, no Broadway, no TV. And so people were forced to stand still and pay attention to this thing, this moment that took place, this terrible and horrific thing. And so now you don't have any choice really but to react and respond to it.
Finally, we do a lot of programming around leadership. We have a sister program called Lessons in Leadership. And I've always been wanting to ask you this. You're a former high school principal at the great Central High School. You're the mayor of a huge city with a diverse, complex population, with a whole range of challenges and issues. Do you have a leadership guidebook that you turn to in crisis like this?
Uh, not really, man. I just, I would say a lot of the books that I read as a principal are applicable, in terms of, trying to manage and organize the city hall and make sure we're responsive from the fifth discipline or good to great or books
Right.
like that
The
I've
classics.
used to, yeah,
Right.
that I've used, to help me organize myself as a principal. Some of those things are applicable in this setting, but also like just regular books that I've read over the years. Books about transformation, about change, about revolution, about activism, about oppressed people, about transforming societies and communities, have all been helpful in keeping me focused on what it is that we need to accomplish in the end. Because there's so many distractions, Steve, that it's easy to start working on something else or forget about what the overall
Yep.
goal and into this is.
Final question. I've known you a long time, and you never seem, no matter what you're feeling or thinking internally, to show it. You know that great expression, never let them see you sweat. And I'm not saying this because you're a friend, but I've never seen you sweat. And here's my question. Is that intentional on your part, no matter what is going on, no matter what crisis, no matter what difficulty, no matter what conflict, when you are leading, you don't let people see that you're panicked in the least? What's really going on?
Yeah, it's a lot of prayer, man. That's what it is. A lot of prayer. And I'm serious, man. Just real focus. And ultimately I get into the moment. It's like any athlete about to play a serious game. You get focused before the game starts, but when you're in the game, you're in the moment. Like, and that's basically what it is. I get focused. I pray. I do the things that I need to do, and then when the moment comes, it just happens. And I'm focused on that. And I prepare myself to be focused.
Mayor Ras Baraka of Newark, New Jersey, my hometown, his hometown, a city that deals with all kinds of difficult challenges every day. And the city's lucky to have the mayor, as its leader. Thank you, Mayor Ras Baraka. We're honored by you joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.